Halloween. A time of scares. A time of dares. Halloween night inducing trauma stories. Seeing things that you'll never ever forget. Experiencing something that will grab you in the deepest moment of sleep and drag you into the world of a nightmare. Not ghosts, but things that can actually hurt you. Grab a blanket. Turn off your lights because here's 4 of them. Gathered from Reddit. 4 true Halloween stories that'll make you cringe. It's a decoration. When I was about in the 6th grade, a friend and I went to another girl's house, which was in the country, a few days before Halloween. We wanted spooky things to happen, so we did the typical preteen girl creepy slumber party activities, like playing with the Ouija board and doing Bloody Mary. The next evening, the girl who lived there told us she heard of a crazy lady who lived nearby and threw plates at people. We decided to take their golf cart and try to find her and videotape her throwing plates at us. We didn't find her. We got lost in the woods instead. All of a sudden, I saw something or someone float into my distance. My friend turned on the video camera and we got out of the golf cart to creep closer. We were scared, but curious at this point. "It's a person," I remember whispering when we were close. "He's dead." "No, it's just a Halloween decoration." My friends insisted it wasn't a Halloween decoration. It was a dead body hanging from a tree. At first we thought he was murdered, then put on display. We were freaking out. The concept of suicide was not well formed into our minds yet. But the knocked over ladder and the note tacked to the tree, which we didn't read, proved otherwise. My friend called the cops. When they arrived, we were told to leave immediately. I remember tons of police cars and at least 1 ambulance arrived. They made us turn off the video camera, which we had been rolling the whole time, and call her mom to get us back to the house. The parents, they tried to convince us as we sat in the kitchen crying that it was simply a Halloween decoration. But police don't send kids home if it isn't a dead body. Every year before Halloween, I still have nightmares sparked by this event. I'm on a hill in the dark. There are dead trees surrounding me, with a dead body hanging from each one. The lady in the house between. When I was younger, we frequently visited my grandparents around holidays, even though we didn't live in the same town. My aunt lived 2 houses down from my grandparents. The lady in the house between was creepy. She was a large woman, over 6 feet tall. She wore logging chains around her neck, a dress, and work boots. The only time I remember seeing her outside was either in her garden in the back or when she was washing the outside of her house, scrubbing the actual building. She did this very often. During these times, she would yell at us kids and call us all kinds of things. She would tell us the devil would be coming for us. The adults told us to leave her alone and to avoid her. We would run the distance between my aunts and my grandparents because when you passed by, she was watching out the windows. It was creepy and we never went alone. One Halloween, one of my cousins dared us to go trick-or-treat her house. I remember how scared I was, but I didn't want to be a chicken. Plus I was going with the group. One of us rang the doorbell and there was a lot of banging noises in the house suddenly, like doors slamming. When she answered the door, she had a severed head in her hands, and we all went screaming. The adult told us it was a Halloween prop, and we knew we shouldn't be bothering her and deserved to be scared. About a month later, my parents got a phone call that the lady had tried to kill my aunt while she was bringing in groceries and had my young cousin in her arms. The ladies had one of them rope saws and had come up behind my aunt with it. She put it over her head and around her neck and proceeded to saw. My aunt naturally flipped and started kicking the door. My uncle came and beat the lady down with a fire poker. The police investigation revealed that the woman had been digging tunnels under her home, which were coming up under my aunt's, my grandparents', and another neighbor's house. She had been bringing the dirt up and putting it in raised beds of the gardens. She also had a shrine of some sort underground, which had a few severed heads around it. My aunt survived, by the way, but has a long scar across her neck. Blockbuster and chill. 2 years ago, I decided to have a movie night on Halloween. I was living with my mom at the time, and she was against the holiday for religious reasons. Anyways, I was headed out to the nearest Blockbuster, picking out a few horror flicks, and headed to the counter. The only person working at the time was a young woman, roughly about my age, late teens. Nobody else was in the store as I had anticipated, so I began asking her questions about Halloween to make small talk. I asked what she was doing working on a holiday, rather than spending it at a party or something. This was her reply. "I don't really like Halloween. When I was 4 years old, I went trick-or-treating with my mom. Sometime around 10 p.m., a man approached me and stabbed me for no apparent reason." At this point, she pointed to her wrist, which indeed looked badly scarred. She continued, "My mom and I managed to yell loud enough for people to catch some attention, so we got away. Later the next day, after I was treated for injuries, we found out the man was a child murderer and had killed 3 other young children that same night." Needless to say, I didn't know how to respond. Creepiest story ever. Just a Halloween prop. In my neighborhood, when I was only 3 or 4 years old, there was a woman who had hung herself in a tree in the front yard sometime during the day of Halloween. From what I've heard people say, people didn't do anything about it because they thought it was a Halloween prop. It wasn't until the body started to smell that someone noticed that it wasn't.